a giver than to be a taker. And I'm wondering if that still is applicable today. A lot of persons prefer to sit down and stretch out the hand to receive rather than stretch out the hand to give. And I'm wondering, is there a special joy in giving? Is there a special joy in receiving? Those are our thoughts for today. Why do people refuse to be a giver? Why are people just sitting down and desiring to be takers? Are there joy, special ones in giving? And is giving also transactional? I mean, do you give because you want to receive? This question is pertinent, is imperative, whatever you call it, because I know that about this season, people, organizations, NGOs, individuals, politicians are going to be doing a lot of giveaways. If you go to the Instagrams, they tell you, Instagram, they'll tell you there's a lot of giveaway going on, and I don't know what they expect in return. But let's quickly introduce the people in the house. Usually I don't introduce them. They introduce themselves by themselves. So I'll start with myself. My name is Elizabeth Abai, and I have a sister.
My name is Devan Mom, and it's good to be here with you this morning.
Okay, sir.
So my name is Emeka Ilebunam. Very nice to be here today. Good morning, Nigerian.
Good morning. And I always start by saying I practice what I preach, and I believe that giving gives a lot of joy. And knowing that I've offered you everything on the table as the only man in the house. So while you talk, munch on.
Okay.
We'll take a little break now and get to find out from the streets, why do people give? And is giving transactional? Let's find out.
It's something within me I see as a natural thing to do. I feel a sense of contentment when I give. And giving is something that is born out of your personal conviction or maybe how you are brought up. But I have this notion, which I know even generally people might understand it, that givers never lack.
Giving is part of me, and I love to give. So anytime I give, I feel very good.
The poor have something. It's not that they are poor completely in every ramification. There is something they have. So that thing that you know that somebody doesn't have, give it to him. For example, I know now you are very rich. There's something you don't have. Maybe you don't have word of God. By the time I give it to you, that is something I've given to you. You understand? And I'll be happy giving it to you.
Everybody should lend a helping hand. A rich man may be sick and he falls down. A poor man can come and help him up. You have helped someone. So help is for everyone. Yeah.
Giving out something from my own little I have. It's like I extend the hands of fellowship to comfort the life of someone who is in need. So that makes me happy and make me feel joy of doing that.
I feel great when I give the people because it's a joy. It's a team of joy to when you reach to a certain stage in life and you have comfort, you give to people, you get the comfort and you go back home and sleep and feel that you've helped a lot. But there are some certain things that people need to know in life. The poor also give, not only the riches. Because there are sometimes when the poor gives, it's just to show appreciation.
It's not actually limited to the rich alone. The poor gives, the rich gives. Everybody should give because giving is part of a paramount thing in the history of nature. God gives and we should also give. Nature gives and we should also give. And in every aspect of our life, giving is a necessity.
The rich are supposed to give and also the poor, they're supposed to contribute, but they should not depend on the rich. Both should give. If you have, you give. That is how it is. Don't depend on anyone. I feel happy because me, when I give, I feel I will get back double, return double. So I feel happy giving out.
All right, from what I saw, you saw, we saw, all of us, I took something away that everybody has capacity to give, everybody has something to give, and that giving gives joy. I'll tell a story I experienced some time ago. I went to visit a man, a big man. In Nigeria, when we say big man, is not by your size.
Not like side of the shoulders, right?
It's by the size of your pocket too.
Exactly.
So I went to visit this man, and I was like, I grew up in a culture where you don't go to anybody's house, empty-handed, which is why you actually have this. You're coming to my house, so I replicate my training. So I was like, what do I give to this person? He has money now. He's a big man, stuff like that. Just in front of NTA here, I saw somebody selling banana and granules, the bottom granules. I bought it. I was happy. I put it in my handbag, those kind of big bag. I know they go today kind of bag, So I went to the place. I sat down on the couch. I sat down. When I went there, I perceived aroma of very nice made meal, obviously coming in from his kitchen. And I was a bit like, oh, this person is going to eat this fine thing. And at the end of it, I'm giving him this tiny thing. I felt embarrassed, so I refused to bring it out. And then I closed my bag like this, because I didn't even want anybody to see what I carried. I felt it was too tiny. So he now said, Madam, why are you hugging your bag? I said, nothing, no. And I had banana and granite. He said, you bought for us. I said, no, actually I brought it for you, but I didn't know how to present it. He said, you brought something for me, you didn't know how to present it, bring it out. I brought it out. I took a bit of it. He said, did you say you brought it for me or for yourself?
For us.
I said, it's for you. He said, don't touch it again. He took the granite, which is this granite that is here. So the man knows how to do a good job, So he quickly, when he took a bit of it, he enjoyed it. He continued eating. From the time we started this program till now, he had finished almost, 4 fingers of banana. And I tried to stretch out to take a bit of the granite too. The man said, if you put your hand here again, I'll beat it. It's not your own, it's my own. And I asked, I said, you're eating like you haven't eaten all day. He said, exactly. This was like 4 p.m. He said, exactly. Yeah. He hadn't eaten because the people around here really don't care whether he eats or not. So I felt, joy.
Yeah.
I felt happiness, I didn't know how to really express it, but I'm sure I was dancing in my mind, because here is someone you think he had everything, but at that moment he didn't have food to eat. And I presented that food, and he hasn't forgotten it. He keeps telling that story every once in a while. So I don't know, we all sit back and feel we can't give because we don't have. But let me go, you're still a politician.
Well, you see, the thing is this, it's not so much about, as you're telling your story, I was really hoping that we have some big men out there watching that are starting to realize why they hardly ever get any gifts. Because usually when we think about gifts mostly in material terms, we hardly ever think about in kind. We think mostly Nigerians now are always thinking in cash. Now, when you're in the presence of a really wealthy person, you cannot for the life of you fathom what you could possibly give. This is somebody that could possibly buy up all your material worth 10 times over. What tiny token are you bringing that will make the person remember that you came with? So after you've stayed and racked your brain, especially if you're trying to seek a favor, and when you're trying to seek a favor, you bring something small, that kind of thing. Especially when you're trying to seek a favor, you begin to ask yourself, okay, this person, based on this person's religion, they probably won't take alcohol, So if I go and buy a very expensive champagne that's 50k, it won't mean anything to him. He doesn't drink. Okay, what will I buy? Whatever you can buy, this person can buy. He can buy, probably he can buy up the factory. Then you're like, let me just go with my 10 fingers. you know? And then you show up, and on some level, the person is like, this person came to ask for this huge favor, and they just strolled into my office with their 10 fingers. They couldn't even come with a card. Also, that's because you, the poor person, you've already judged yourself, and you've concluded that there's nothing you will bring that will make an impact, that will show the person anything. So you decide to just take your chances and just turn up with your 10 fingers like that, so that you don't get yabbed after you have left the place. You know, so I think that's where it comes from, when it looks as if the poor don't give to the wealthy. 9 out of 10 times you can't think of what to give, especially if it's somebody you are not close to.
Well, I think we should really follow our minds, you know, and not try to over impress. Last year, you know, I went to visit a lady. She's a bit elderly, a friend of mine, and there was this noise at the backyard. There was noise of a cow, and she was not happy with it. She said, "Why do these people give me this cow? I have blood pressure. I have this. I have that. I can't eat red meat." And then they give me the extra problem of looking for who to slaughter it, how to share it, and how to do this. I don't want these things anymore. You know, tell them, whoever that brought that thing should take it away. A cow is supposedly a very big stuff to give to, again, big man. No, and then here is this woman complaining that the money she's going to use to take care of it, the feeding, the everything, is stressing her. So why are you giving her gifts that will stress her? It would have been nicer if you made perhaps fish pepper soup in a bowl and brought it to her table. She would have been very happy. Like, I gave her a cake and she was very happy. But let's not move there. I give according to my pocket. I want to find out, you know, it's you're a Rotarian. Yes. And president, which club?
Abuja Municipal. Okay.
Now, I know that Rotary people are associated with a lot of giving, but you as a person, what you know makes you want to give, and how do you feel?
So thank you so much. So, and you know, from your very nice story and the joy that I hear, I think what is important in giving is basically to run away from the kind of thing you very validly put across is giving. Number one is giving to impress is one aspect, but giving to show you care is another aspect.
Thank you.
So I just came back from a trip, and I have this my friend Chris. You know, he's always a very nice guy, and I bought some bottles of perfume. And normally people will say this one is feminine, this one is masculine. I don't know that. So he came to the office, and I just took one and gave to him, and he screamed, "Oh, this one is ladies now." And I'm like, okay, so you have a wife, so go give it to him, to give it to her. Few hours later, I got this call from a lady who is his wife with this prayer that, is carrying me up to today. So what am I trying to say here? Just give what you have. Just condition your mind that you're giving out. Whatever impression it creates there, whatever impact it creates is in your mind. So when we therefore try to condition ourselves to make sure we give right, that's when we start having a problem. So complex comes in, right? So yes, for Rotary, Rotary is synonymous with giving back to the society, serving society, humanitarian service, sacrificial service. That's what we do. So for us, giving is an everyday thing. That's what we do. Anytime you see any Rotarian, all we're thinking about is, where do we make impact? Where do we give? Less privileged, and so on and so forth. So for us, we just make sure we go out there, see where we can help in hospitals, in destitute homes, in the remote villages. Okay, anytime you see us, we're in the nooks and crannies of the city where people don't normally see, and some of the places, if you go there and then you drive out on the main roads in Abuja, you won't ever think that such places exist, but those exist. And the most important thing, therefore, is that what I say all the time: remember that giving is for one purpose, is to create impact, but there's something you get back. It's called goodwill. Goodwill is what comes back to you, and as long as you remember that, then you give from your heart. Goodwill is that currency that, you know, both the heaven and earth understands. The spiritual, the physical understands it, and it happens only when you give. The only time you have goodwill in your bank account is when you give, without caring, without minding who is receiving it, without waiting to receive a thank you in response, and so on and so forth. Giving, even not knowing who you are giving.
Okay.
So that's basically what it is, and that's what I think is the way we should always
be. You know, stemming from what you said, I keep, you know, having reflections of people who give in front of camera. What do I mean? Somebody wants to go and visit a motherless baby's home, or is going to donate one thing, and he's carrying a camera, and he's begging media houses to come and cover it. Is that how giving should be done?
That's transactional giving. The person is giving to advertise him or herself. And the truth is this: my father told me something. Anytime you give someone something and he starts saying thank you, and you're enjoying that thank you, just forget it. You've gotten your reward, right? But that reward is not enough. The reward comes from God. So the moment you expect that reward and you take it, forget it. You've not done nothing. But if you do it and walk away, if you do it when you are not even there, if you do without caring for it, thank you, then that's when you get the real reward, which is the goodwill I'm talking about right now. However, I'd like to point out something that's very important based on what you say. So several years ago, it's over 38 years ago, so I used to be away from the country. So when I come back, I go to one particular motherless baby's home in Enugu, and I will always go there, give whatever. It doesn't matter, you know, a bag of rice and things like that. And so one of the days I came in, and there was a team of journalists, you know, NTA, basically NTA, one Channel 5 in Enugu or something like that. And the Reverend Sister who runs the place came to me and said, please, I need you to speak to the press. I'm like, what? Because for me, you know, I think basically that must be the first day I actually spoke in front of a camera. And I said, no, that's not what I'm here. I protested so furiously. But she looked at me and said, do you know why I want you to do this? I said, no. You just brought us a bag of rice. There are a lot of people who have half, 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of rice in their houses, but they are thinking it's small to bring for us. If they see that you brought a bag of rice, it might ginger them to say, wow, oh, if someone can be thanked, you know, for bringing a bag of rice, I have 2, let me go and give. So again, it's about the intention, all right? So going, and sometimes you go to give something worth 10,000 naira, but you carry a band of, you know, you pay 50,000 naira to carry a band of journalists and so on and so forth. It doesn't make sense. So sometimes it's important to publicize it, but not for self-glorification. It's to be able to trigger other people to give and create more impact.
All right.
In fact, I agree with him. You know, I don't know if this is a Christian or a Catholic tenet, but in Catholicism, you are encouraged that when you give, your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. That's how private you're expected to keep it. But you see, there was a day I was watching the Oprah show. And she's famous for being a philanthropist and everything. But on that particular edition of the show, she decided to surprise her guests by giving everybody that turned up a car. Brand new car.
How come you didn't ask me to attend?
I should have been there.
Of course, this was like some 15 years ago or so. But it stuck in everybody's mind because, yeah, Oprah is wealthy. I think, as at the time, she was the wealthiest black woman on earth, I think. But there were people who were wealthier than her. You know, they were running charities and things like that. But they had not, you know, a charity is a very impersonal way of giving.
Correct.
It has institutions. It's a very removed. But this was like a very direct, personal contact style of giving. You know, they have these live shows where people are sitting in the audience, and there were people that came as a couple, some came as brother and sister, some were entire families, and she was just like, okay, there's a bag beside you. If you pick it up and open, you'll see this, that, and everybody opened and brought out. It was a brand new car. Wow. And you know, when I watched that, instead of feeling like, this woman, wow, she's here trying to prove that she knows how to give. Now, I didn't feel that way. I was like, may God bless me to be able to do this one day.
Exactly, yeah.
It doesn't have to be in front of a camera, but it made me feel like, this is something that one can do. Those people that she gave those brand new cars to, so I'm quite sure a number of them probably have their own cars, but there could be somebody in that crowd
Who doesn't have
and had no hope of having a car in the next 2 or 3 years, and things like that. And so when you give openly, if your intentions are right, if the idea is not to come back and put a squeeze on those people, I gave you people car, you did not do this for me. If that's not the plan, what you are doing is planting a seed in another person's mind to emulate what you have done.
Exactly.
And that way good deeds are paid forward. I'm sure there's so many other philanthropic gestures the woman has done behind camera, clearly, but this one was on camera, and that was what it evoked in me. So I think
somebody is actually supporting what you said. He said for those who use the camera in some cases, that he thinks that they are sending a message to those who do not know how to give. Okay, he says his name is Chris Rich. And I would want to still dwell a little bit more on the transactional giving and taking. I brought in taking for a purpose. Not too long ago, I was in the pulpit, and the preacher man was talking about end of the year and things that happen, and then he was warning young girls, as you go out there, when uncles give you gifts, mind the kind of gift you give. And uncles that travel from Abuja to the hinterland to wherever, when you give gifts that that are real. When you go to buy undergarments for a young lady, what is your intention? Because when you buy a gift, you want to see if it fits. So why do you want to go and buy undergarments for a lady when you know that that's not your girlfriend? So he was talking about things like that. Don't give a gift that will trap in young people so that you can seduce them or use them for thuggery and all of that. So I don't know. Some of us really do know that those things are not right, and we still collect them. What's your take on it? Let me start with you.
So this is very classical, right? So we had a project, a humanitarian service project at JSS Durumi, and it's about empowering young girls. So it's a JSS, so in Form 3 they all leave, right? So what we normally do is, before they leave, yearly we go there and teach them skills, basic skills, what do you call it, pastries, detergent making, and so on and so forth. And when we are done with that, we try to empower them, with the items to continue, while they are waiting for probably to go to the next level of schooling. But you see, and I made it very clear why we do this. We do it because these girls are going to go back to the homes. Most homes are, unfortunately, I have to say it, poor. All right. So these ladies need some basic things, sanitary pads, brazier, and so on and so forth. So you want to be able to empower them to get them by themselves, because our experience when we were trying to do studies of what we should do proved what you just said right now. A lot of uncles will prey on them and say, okay, you need the money to buy sanitary pad. Okay, no problem. Come and sit on my leg. Sit on my laps. Yeah, it happened. They told us this live. They sit on my laps, and of course, when you sit on uncle's lap and you want to give you money, you know what that means. And like you rightly said, go and buy yourself an underpants. Okay, wear it and let me see if it fits. We all know that it's just preying on people. So transactional giving is not the giving that is preached by all the scriptures I have read. Or every religion, abhors transactional giving, because that's what it is, transactional. You're expecting something. So in the realm of giving, it is not giving.
But the politicians actually do that a lot. I know next year we'll be going to the polls to throw in our votes. And the Ember months are here. People are going to be having village meetings, gatherings, and all of that. There'll be donations, bags of rice. Must I collect it? Let me go to you, because you are one.
Come to it I think let's not be too utopian.
Okay.
at the end of the day, we're all human beings and all flawed. The concept of altruistic giving is almost non-existent. Let me explain. From a physical human plane, I would call myself an altruistic giver, because in many instances I've helped people I know I'll never lay eyes on again. Random strangers, family in remote villages that I don't even really know well. And even people I know, if I help you, I take my mind off it and move on with my life. If I ever come to you for a favor, it's not because I helped you before, it's because you are the only person I know to run to in this time. But am I totally altruistic? No. When I'm giving you, because of my faith, which says that for you to further your relationship with God, you require both faith and works. I'm giving you from a perspective of works. I'm not expecting anything from you.
You're expecting from God.
But I'm really hoping that God is taking down some notes. So if you look at it from that perspective, am I being totally altruistic? Or am I hoping that this good deed I'm doing you, maybe one day, somehow, goodwill will flow my way, even if not from you, from another person, as a result of this good deed I've sent out into the universe, into the world? Am I hoping that as a result of this good deed I'm doing for you, somehow it will manifest itself in my children's lives? If we look at it from that angle, I am expecting to get something, even if not as a direct benefit from the person I helped. I'm hoping that somehow, somewhere, goodwill flows back my way, which is exactly what he said. That the only way you can store up goodwill for yourself is by giving. So as human beings, we all expect something in return, regardless of race, creed, religion, and so on and so forth. We are expecting that when we do good, good will happen to us. That is why even in the Bible, you see the philosophical question in Psalms, somewhere that says that you will find people complaining that, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? That is because collectively, as a collective, as human beings, we expect that when you do good, good should come your way. You understand?
Yeah,
so
totally.
if you look at it from that perspective, are there any humans that are actually fully and completely altruistic?
I don't know, because from your description I found out that pretty much all of us are like that.
Well,
You know,
guilty of that
we
in
do
some way.
things, believing not that the person will pay us back, believing that the heavens will record it, and for someone like me, it's always okay. God, please find a way of pushing this blessing to my children, usually, so that wherever they go to, they can find favor that I've given to other people. But then I want to go back to what you said when we started about what to give. It is not always material, like you said, in kind or in cash representing material. I find out that a lot of people believe, oh, she's complete, oh, he's complete, there's nothing she needs. And I keep telling them it's not always like that. It's not always that. My mom will tell you that you know how to do big things, you forget the small ones. Meanwhile, the small ones, somebody has to do it for you. I was moving out of a place, and constantly the security people will ask you for a token when you're passing. And you give. If you don't have, no problem. Boys. And that man asked me for breakfast. And I'm like, what's wrong with your hands? Do you ever ask if I have things to do? I'm not asking you to give me anything. Do you know that you can start a business of your own? By even just coming around to ask us, please bring your clothes, I'll wash it for you when I'm done with my chore or my duty. You go and wash that clothes, hang it. Whether or not you iron it is inconsequential, but if you iron it, it's added stuff. Just do it for the person. And if it's okay, the person will give you money. or you can do it as business rather than start begging.
Yeah.
I have a friend who till today I have never seen. He's in Meduguri, and we've been friends for 8 years.
On Facebook.
Not Facebook,
Okay.
phone call.
Okay.
8 years. We've never seen. I don't know what he looks like. He probably doesn't know me. But one thing led to the other. Our numbers came to be. Do you know that this person will always call me to share one problem or the other, and I give my solution the way I know it, and he will thank me, say, sis, thank you very much. He just needs, encouragement, words. That's given.
True.
Some of us don't even know that if you see somebody who is working hard, telling the person, well done. It's a lot of giving.
It's big. It's big.
You do a good job. Your bosses in your office do not know that once in a while they should tell you your job is good.
Yeah.
Your job is brilliant. They are not doing that. But whenever you make mistakes, you're spanked.
Yeah, exactly.
Your job is brilliant. If you were very tired and you didn't want to continue, the mere fact that this boss recognized you and say, I see you're doing well.
Yeah.
You understand that. We always believe that, I am on the other side and nobody can give. There was one man, when I had my second baby, I had issues with breast milk and all of that. He came around. Somebody whispered I was having breast milk problems and all of that. So he went and brought me some local things, palm wine, to drink, that it will help. And he didn't know how to give it to me. He was a cleaner in the office.
Oh.
He didn't know how to hand over. So he came to the security man and said, Madam, say I should bring this thing. The security man brought it, gave to the housekeeper. And that one brought. I said, I didn't ask for this. What's this? I don't even take it. My mom says,
I didn't see that coming. I thought you were going to say something nice.
It wasn't for me. So I had to find out who he was even before taking it. And I called him. He's late now. Why did you do that? He said, I didn't know how to come to your house and come and give you this thing, but I heard somebody saying it and I needed to help out. I looked at this man. He treks to work for a very long distance.
Long distance, wow.
I called my husband and said, you must do something for this man. Then I asked him, what do you want? He said he needed a bicycle, white horse, or he bought him a bicycle. That his place is not very, motorable. So, you see, he caught me. I wasn't relating with him, but he heard I had issues, and he helped out. 1 liter of palm wine. So a lot of times we do not understand that we can give to people who we think are bigger than us.
And in his own case, he probably wasn't even expecting anything in return.
I don't think he was.
He probably wasn't.
Because he was actually doing it in hiding. He felt I was too small to talk to this woman, So a lot of times it happens. And anyway, let me go back to the people who are writing before my time runs out. It says, if a person comes to me for the first time to demand money or material things from me, I will give. He comes the second time, I will give. And when he comes back the third time, should I still give him money?
Very good question. So this is very interesting, by the way. So, and the truth is this: we all, go out there. Sometimes you go to church, and before the last prayer is said, a lot of people are waiting, consistently asking for money and so on and so forth. So me, for instance, the last thing I do right now is go and come out and start giving money, because you discover that it just becomes a ritual. So basically, straight to this question, it is making the person lazy. So I think that person has become a case for further
investigation.
Exactly. Find out what is the person doing, because you can't keep giving all the time. You can empower the person, and that is what people. We do in Rotary, for instance. We find such people and we get you into a hub and they try to teach you something and empower you. Ask you some questions. What do you do? Why don't you go to so place, learn something and be there? And these days, we don't even do empower people anymore, because we discover that you just give people items, they go and sell it and move on and come back again. So put you in a hub. So such a person that is coming the third time, I think from, more often than not, they are not people who really want to be useful to themselves. So he should take another direction. Call the guy, find out why he's become a perpetual beggar, because that's exactly what it has turned into right now. So that's my advice.
All right, I hope you're listening. You didn't give us your name, but John Aduku from Kaduna says, good morning, everyone. In a society where philanthropy, civic titan, okay, he says civic titan, is the way of life. Giving back to society comes easy, and it's not transactional in any way. And another person says, good morning, I like the topic. There is somebody who I know, if you ask him for assistance, he will cry that he does not have. Even his family background are lacking much, but he will go to church and donate money to the church. Is that right?
Meanwhile, there are people who make it a habit of giving churches bounced checks.
Churches?
Yes.
It's like
not just churches, organizations.
No, I mean, like, you can do that anywhere else, you understand? It's still not good.
Yeah.
But somebody that can come and lie to the church frightens me.
Yeah. Right.
So this person that should not be catching feelings. So 9 out of 10 times, if you go back and ask the church, each time they took that person's check, the check bounced. No, seriously, there are people who have made, and these are people whose names are well known in society. You understand? They use church to catch crews, during bazaar and things like that. That's their own camera. The studio cameras are not there, but there's a whole crowd of people in the congregation that will know, this person, he's so interested in the workings of the church. He's so 9 out of 10 times they are doing it to promote their business. Because if you project yourself as somebody who is so interested in what is happening in church, you are a knight, there are pictures of you doing handshakes with the Pope and all of these things, it raises your street cred now, at least with the congregation. And there's one particular notorious fellow whose name I will not mention.
The way you were saying it, I knew there was somebody.
I will certainly never mention his name. But I got messed up with him money-wise, and by the time, because we're both Catholic, by the time I started running from one priest to another to intervene. This is somebody, the last verse asked if he gave us check of 150,000.
And we never clear.
And this is 9 months later. And he did it the other year too. And the other year. They will be whispering because they are not supposed to say things. You understand? So that person should stop catching feelings. Okay. If you go to that church and ask, those checks bounce.
He's in business. Okay. Then I am the richest yet without money. I'm a teacher. I give and impact knowledge to people regardless their background. This is absolutely true. I believe you. Teachers are great givers, but though some of them also give you a lot of caning as well. Giving helps you grow spiritually. Thank you. Good morning. And let's see what we take some more. Giving is born. Reward comes from God. That's you didn't write your name, and all of the people who are writing, I can't get your name, but somebody is writing to me in Hausa. I don't know how to read it. Can you please translate and let us read it? Today's discussion is apt and timely. As individuals, we should imbibe the spirit of giving back to the society that nurtured us. Yours, Abdullahi Toro from Bauchi State. Abdullahi, thank you very much. Is it good to give God? Is it good to give? God will give times 2. Okay, it's good to give. God will give times 2. Let's take a little bit more. Please help me by explaining to me which one is more important, by giving to the very poor people and the church. Which one has more blessing? Kingsley, one from Port Harcourt.
We can weigh in on that, and the answer to that is not black and white. That is the truth. The point is both are very essential. And so you just need to balance it out. I'm of the Christian faith, and in Matthew 23:23 says clearly, some of us give. He mentioned tithes, which is like what people call giving to God, but we fail to do what he called the weightier things. We ignore the weightier things of the law. And he was asked what are the weightier things of the law. It's about giving to the less privileged, attending to the fatherless, and so on and so forth. So if you summarize that response, what it means is that give to God and give to man. The truth is this. I mean, the scriptures made it clear for us to understand that you can't say you're just giving to God, giving to God, giving to God, and you're ignoring all the poor people around you. That is not giving. And that is why the question which my sister responded to the other time is very apt what she said. Some people go to church to aggrandize themselves. That's not giving. That's not giving. That's self-advertisement. And I'm not thinking whether God is looking away. He's looking away from things like that.
But the same scripture tells us that the poor you always have, but me, you may not have all the time. How do you link that?
And
which is why I said it's important.
It's important to give to them, exactly. Okay. Yeah, they will always be there, so you make sure you give them. Yeah.
All right, let's take more. I hope Kingsley got the answer he wanted. I give a lot. Yep. Most times people think you are a fool for giving. Patrick from Lagos.
This is very important. Absolutely. I'm not the giver I was as a younger person.
Thank you.
As a younger, should I say more naive person, I'm the kind of person who will never borrow money for myself, but I'm happy to borrow money to solve another person's problem. Yeah. And I won't even tell you that's what I've done, because I'm afraid that I'm going to burden you with thinking that, oh, I'm
suffering for you so much.
You put me through so much. So I won't even tell you. I'll borrow that money, give you, then put myself through the stress of paying it back with the attendant's bad name and all of this, when it's something I won't even do for myself. In the first fight I ever got into, I'm not the strongest person on earth. The first fight I ever got into was to protect a friend.
Was it physical?
Yes, it was physical. And I attacked somebody bigger than me to protect my friend. I will never get into a fight for myself. Because I know that with one blow, I'll probably be in serious trouble. But I was that kind of person who would go above and beyond. For if I felt you were my person, nothing was too small to do for you. Not if you are having a problem with somebody, I'll receive the problem, it will become my own. And all of this. As I grew older and wiser because, first of all, I noticed so many people were taking advantage of that. And you see, when you are naturally giving by nature, generous with your time, your kindness, your resources and things like that, what you automatically attract is what? On this physical plane, what you attract is predators.
Takers.
People who see you as a soft target. There are people who are so damaged that they think that when they take advantage of somebody's kindness, they're too sharp.
They're too sharp, exactly.
Smart. Are too smart. I just go tell her one kind of stupid story. She just go find money, go and give me. You understand? And you'll encounter so many of such people that it beats you down and kills your spirit. So, while I'm still that giving person, I like to think I'm still generous and kind. I'm not that person who is generous and kind enough to put my own self on the back burner. Because with time, I started telling myself, this thing you're doing is not even what the Bible said. The Bible said, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah, I'm just you love yourself first.
In fact, it means that you need to take care of yourself.
Correct.
You need to be in a good place before you can look after another person.
Absolutely.
So the way I used to do things, put myself on the back burner, inconvenience myself so that somebody else would be okay, I don't do that anymore. We both have to be okay.
I have a cousin sister who will tell you that once in a while, she will go, low. And pretend she cannot afford anything, she cannot help herself. I'm like, why do you do that? She said, I need to know my real friends. When I don't have, when I'm broke, the real people will hang around. Then I bounce back and I continue with those ones. But the people who come around you and you consistently give them, and when you don't have, you don't see them anymore, they are not your real friends.
No, I don't bother with strategies like that. I don't test people. I just do me. If I have and the unction is on me to give you, I will give you.
Okay.
If I have and the unction is not on me to give you, I will not give you. And if I don't have, I'm not going to overstretch myself.
Anyway, so when you say you won't give, even shishi.
For instance, if I feel like you are not being smart, You understand? You keep falling into nonsense trouble because you feel there are people
There's
around you to
somebody
bail you out.
Yeah.
There will be times when you'll show up and I'll be, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you keep taking undue advantage of
Yeah,
the
if I
situation.
feel you're taking advantage of my generosity,
And that's why the question the other guy asks about, if the person came the first time, second time, the third time is already seeing you as a mugu. You know you know the word mugu.
Yes.
So, and that is why you have to now sit back. We have to be responsible givers. Sometimes, if you are not a responsible giver, you actually try to make people lazy and urge them on in what she just very aptly explained. You know, they take advantage of you. And the point is this: you are not helping yourself, and you are not helping them. So you really need to pull back a little bit and find what's going on. Why must you be begging, right? Why must it be you all the time? So what else do we need to do to help you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Alex from Worry says, is it good to use my offering to poor people around? Do I give the poor people my offering rather than give it to the church? The answer is yes or no.
No, the answer is neither yes nor no. You don't have to give
Yeah.
you don't have to give your offering to poor people. You don't have to give money for the poor people for offering. So you balance it
Exactly,
out.
you balance it out.
Okay, Devan, you said it all. He said, Devan, you said it all. And he also added, I am also a giver. Okay, this is still from Chris Rick. He said, why do people, even those close to you, when giving to them, still pay you evil?
That's another aspect.
That one is expected now.
That's another aspect.
The more you give, the more you have people who don't want to give.
Yeah, that is why you don't do things and expect something from that same person. Just trust that the universe will take care of you.
Thank you.
9 out of in very many instances, the person you've helped the most stabs you in the back.
Absolutely.
I don't know why that happens that way.
And the best way to do it is, like you rightly said, do not place expectations on people.
Yeah,
don't ever, because the disappointment will be so huge and so frustrating.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Sophia, and I really want to appreciate you all for all the meaningful issues being discussed in this program today. God will continue to protect and guide you all. Amen. That's another way of giving. Praying for me. Thank you so much. Honor her James from Abuja says, please, can someone give to those who are not handicapped but turn themselves to beggars? Is that still good giving?
Not in a very bad financial place. If the unction falls on you to help the person and you can help, people are going through hell. Things are really, really bad. Especially with this thing that came nowadays of these loan apps. There are people whose entire lives are now mortgaged.
Yeah.
People are going through hell. There are people who don't have food in the house and they're perfectly physically hale and hearty.
I tell you a story. A young lady with 3 children, who always come around and ask for things. We collectively give her things to help her with her child almost on a weekly basis. Then a job came somewhere from beside where I live. They needed somebody who will come in 3 times, to clean up the environment, not inside the house, just sweep the compound 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it's expected that she would have come in and finished before 8. So I said, please, this woman, a woman who was doing it, so she took ill. I said, wait, there's a young girl I'll call. I called this girl. I actually asked for the husband to ask her to come. She didn't show. Eventually, I had to seek her out. I asked her to start the job. She didn't show up. The person had given me 2 weeks. He said, this compound is dirty. I can't continue to stay that way. I called. I said, madam, what's your problem? He said, no, I cannot leave my house by 6. So that's when
that is my friend and is so wealthy, owes me. This my sister, that is her husband is the CBN governor.
Yeah, she took my own fortune, so she was giving it back to me.
And there are some families that believe that a certain member of the family is doing very well because the parents stole every other person's blessing and gave this person spiritual, some kind of spiritual juju is going on. So that person now owes the rest of the people whose blessing was stolen. And then you now find that if you are carrying the mentality around in your mind that somebody took something from you, of course your mindset will always be to get it back. So instead of looking at how can I progress by myself, even if my spiritual blessing was given to somebody else, you keep looking at this person whose your spiritual blessing was financial spiritual blessing was taken from you and given to the person. Let the person return it back to you.
All right, so our time is almost over. Somebody says here, that's Okori from where Okori Sunday says, if somebody is giving God bounce check, you're trying God to Papa.
That is strong.
And such a person should be mentally investigated. On a parting note now, I want you to speak to all givers.
Yeah.
You know, what should be our mindset as we do that?
Thank you so much. So
this period.
Our mindset should be always to give. All right. Anytime you are giving, your hand is on top. Okay, so that's what is important.
No, I think I like that. My hand is on top.
Yeah, your hand is always on top. It's more blessed to give than to receive, as a matter of fact. And so all we need to do is to give as much as we can. Anytime the unction, I like to use our word, the unction is on you to give. Just go ahead and do it. There's a lot of things happening right now, and people are going through a lot of issues. So give as much as you can, but please be a responsible giver. I know there are people who are out there, I encounter them on a daily basis. They don't know how to give. They don't know who to give and when to give. They don't even have time to give. And we say, look, if you believe in your church, go there, give, and then let them extend if you believe in them. Otherwise, go to real voluntary organizations. I'm sorry to them, Rotary is one. We know what we do.
You're going to pay me for this.
I'm going to pay for that.
I'm going to use this opportunity because so many people in life have helped me to get to where I am today. At work, amongst family members, friends, I cannot name them. It's impossible. But they know who they are. I want to use this opportunity to thank each and every person who has ever helped me to get to where I am. I never call myself self-made. I don't believe in that fallacy. Too many people helped me to get to where I am today. I want them to know that I cannot pay them back, even if I try.
That's another advert.
Yeah.
You're going to pay me.
Yeah, I can't pay them back even if I try because of the things they did for me and so on. But they know themselves, and may God replenish everything they did. But I want to name these people, this particular people.
No,
I'm
I don't have time. I don't have time.
No, I'm going to name
Just
them.
1 minute. One second.
Mr. Simon and Rose Ugbe.
Okay,
May God
thank
bless you for everything you did.
Bless
Bless you, Simon and Rose.
Thank you so much. And on that lovely note, we take a leave of you now to rejoin you again next Wednesday. All I say is, never think that you're too small to give. Whatever you have, appreciate it and give it with your guts. Give it from the bottom of your heart. The person you give it to will see your heart and appreciate it no matter how little. I'll be with you again next week. Until then, be a cheerful giver. Bye.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Hello, welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. I am Musbah and Wahab with the news, the headlines. President Buhari signs 2023 appropriation bill into law.
My people are enthusiastic and committed Nigerians. We believe in the unity of the country.
Governor Uzodinma of Imo State calls for more enhanced security to checkmate criminality in the southeast. Political parties and grassroots campaign mobilizing electorate ahead of February election. Public servants pledge their commitment to work and renew hope in the year 2023. Thanks a lot for staying tuned in to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. President Muhammadu Buhari says as his administration draws to a close, effort will be intensified towards accelerating the implementation of critical measures ahead at further improving the Nigerian business environment, enhancing the welfare of Nigerians, and ensuring sustainable economic growth. This was while signing into law the 2023 Appropriations Bill and the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill recently passed by the National Assembly. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has the reports.
Flanked by the presiding officers and relevant committee chairmen of the National Assembly, as well as key members of the executive, President Muhammadu Buhari formally approves the implementation of the 21.83 trillion naira 2023 budget, as well as the 2022 supplementary budget. While the 2023 budget is to promote fiscal sustainability, macroeconomic stability, and ensure smooth transition to the incoming administration, the supplementary budget is principally to enable the government respond to the devastating effect of the recent nationwide flooding on the nation's infrastructure and agricultural sectors.
The amended fiscal framework for 2023, as approved by the National Assembly, shows additional revenues of 765.79 billion naira and an unfunded deficit of 553.46 billion naira. I have also noted that the National Assembly introduced new projects into the 2023 budget proposal, for which it has appropriated 770.72 billion naira. The National Assembly also increased the provisions made by ministries, departments, and agencies by 58.55 billion naira.
While directing the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to engage the legislature with a view to revisiting some of the changes made to the executive budget proposal, the President also urged the National Assembly to reconsider its position on the proposal to securitize the federal government's outstanding ways and means balance at the Central Bank of Nigeria. The balance, he explained, has accumulated over several years and represents funding provided by the Central Bank of Nigeria as lender of last resort to government to enable it meet its obligations to lenders as well as cover budgetary shortfalls.
I have no intention to fetter the right of the National Assembly to interrogate the composition of this balance, which can still be done even after granting the requested approval. Failure to grant the securitization approval will, however, cost the government about 1.8 trillion naira in additional interest in 2023.
Thus, notwithstanding, President Buhari said the 2023 capital votes will be released early to enable ministries, departments, and agencies to commence the implementation of their capital projects in support of efforts at delivering key projects and public services, as well as improving the living conditions of Nigerians.
Let me conclude by expressing my deep appreciation to Almighty God for His grace and commend the continued resilience, understanding, and sacrifice of our people in the face of current economic challenges.
Both chambers will ensure that we get revenues, we find more sources, better sources, stabilize the sources, and of course look into some of the legislations and some of the waivers and concessions granted to see whether or not they deserve to continue to be implemented in the way and manner they were approved, or we need to reverse them because we need money in our country. But that is not to say that we should raise taxes that will be out of the roof as to cause problem for our citizens.
The problem with the National Assembly is that you can't win to lose. If you return the budget the exact way it is, you're called rubber stamp. If you do what you're supposed to do and adjust figures for the good of the country, you call it jacking up. Executive did everything they could, and we have even a wider view, a bird's eye view of what's going on in all the agencies. And we have also complemented what the executive has done. It's all for the good of the country.
However, the Finance Bill 2022, which is critical to the effective implementation of the 2023 budget and the attainment of the various set objectives, is yet to be assented to, as some of the changes made by the National Assembly, President Buhari said, need to be reviewed by the relevant agencies of government. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been commending President Muhammadu Buhari for signing the 2023 appropriation bill into law.
There will be no excuse for offices to say that budget have not been signed. Budget have not been signed. Now that it has been signed, we wish that this thing will work, will go down to the grassroots level, so that everybody, myself, business people, non-business people will enjoy it. That's why I said kudos to the president, kudos to Nigeria.
You call it national budget, so it's not only for civil servants. It should be all encompassing. Even Mama, Baba Michai and all this, they should also feel the impact that, a budget has been signed on their behalf, and it should go down well to letting them also have a feel.
We have signed the budget into law. I want to believe strongly that if it is well implemented, it will better the lots of the citizens of this country.
Nigeria has promised to support the Republic of Burundi in critical areas of need in furtherance of African solidarity and brotherliness. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance while receiving the special envoy of President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Although details of the Burundian leader's message were not disclosed, his special envoy and Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, Odase Nyonzima, says his president sent goodwill for the new year to Nigerians and President Muhammadu Buhari. Burundi, he also says, wishes Nigeria well in the forthcoming general elections scheduled for February and March this year. As the envoy puts it, we pray that the polls would be peaceful and successful so that Nigeria would maintain her reputation as a bastion of peace and stability. On the request for assistance in the area of energy provision, particularly fueled by the Burundian leader, President Buhari says he knows what it feels like for a country to suffer from energy shortage. He therefore promised that he would get the NNPC Limited to look into the request. President Buhari maintains that he is looking forward to the polls and indeed retirement, having satisfied the constitutional requirement for 2 terms in office. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now let's talk of security matters. The end is now in sight for the protracted challenges of security in Imo State as President Muhammadu Buhari approves the deployment of more sophisticated security devices to once and for all contain the situation. Governor Hope Uzodinma announced this while briefing journalists after an audience with the president. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo Wasmore reports.
My people are enthusiastic and committed Nigerians. We believe in the unity of the country.
And plans by his administration to introduce far-reaching measures in the fight against crime and criminality.
Every day I come to Mr. President, one positive approval or the other. Any moment from now, we will be getting some technology managed security so that we can fight crime with little or no collateral damage to the environment.
The governor also used the opportunity to express appreciation to the president for enhancing the presence of the federal government in Imo State and the entire southeast sub-region.
Only 2 weeks ago, Igbos that came home from Lagos and outside southeast enjoyed the benefits of the second Niger bridge, something that is worthy of commendation. In Imo State, for instance, you see that we got the approval of Mr. President that is now enabling the Imo State government to partnering with the Nigerian Navy to dredge Oguta to Orashi River to the sea. That is opening up that maritime route. Then if there is a naval base that will now manage and control pipeline vandalism, crude oil theft, and all forms of criminality that has besieged that area for a very long time. And the crime has gone down tremendously since the naval base was established. So I think that we have hope for a better Nigeria. The road that we just completed, which Mr. President commissioned, the Owerri to Olu, dualize the express road. The president has approved that Imo State government be refunded. And the good news, we have never had this so well. So, and that is why I continue to tell you people that the party to beat in my state is APC.
Governor Hope Uzodinma expressed optimism that 2023 will be a year of peace and prosperity for Imo State. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still on security matters, criminality has turned life into a nightmare for residents and visitors to the nation's capital, widely regarded as a fortified fortress owing to its status as the seat of power. The increase in the manner with which the criminals attack and dispossess their victims of valuables is worrisome. In this report, Tessie Omeri seeks solutions.
It appears drive-by criminals, popularly referred to as one-chance operators, home burglars, scavengers and petty pickpockets are demystifying the security architecture of Abuja's high and mighty, as well as the middle class and poor, with different bad experiences to share. Jerry Okon, a taxi driver, recounts his ordeal.
I carried some passengers to Area 10, unknowingly that the person sitting behind me was a thief. So all he did was he took my phone and all the money that I worked for the morning. I even give him change again.
The resident of Ochacho Estate in Idu Karimo, who went out for morning jogging and never returned, is one out of many and leaves so much to be desired. Eyewitnesses still shudder at the crime scene while narrating the scary attack.
25th of this last 6 months, that was around 7 a.m. He went for jogging. He didn't return, so the wife had to cry to the gate, and the security man told him that he went for jogging. On checking, we saw his dead body.
What is the way forward?
It is one action that leads to another, but we are thinking of reducing or removing. What are those indices?
We have thrown reason to the winds, even we Nigerians. We open our police, but have you protected that?
Security agents still maintain that credible and timely intelligence will help reduce crime to its barest minimum, as security is everyone's business. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
That's a call to action for the new FCT Command Commissioner. Now, away from security matters, a smooth flow of traffic with corresponding happy faces of motorists and passengers are some feelers which emerged following the temporary opening of a second Niger bridge at midnight Monday, January 2nd, 2023. Chiere Okoli, who has been monitoring the situation, observed that road safety officials are also on ground to ensure orderliness.
Relief and joy clearly registering on the faces of travelers as NTA arrived to monitor the flow of traffic around that axis.
I did use it while I was going to the east. Now I'm going back to Lagos. It just reduces your travel time, the stress and everything. Commendations to the government of the day, timing, whenever we are coming home you put about 2 or 3 hours to be wasted at Onitsha, but that has been cut off. So it means a lot to every traveler on these routes.
I'm happy because I'm from village now.
There was a heavy security presence at the bridge as various safety personnel were seen patrolling to ensure safety of lives and property, and also to ensure that drivers plying the bridge adhere to traffic rules. Director, Highways, Bridge and Design in the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Engineer Oluropo Oyetade, who supervised the installation of some road furnitures and signs, pointed out that the move is to ensure free flow of traffic and to make the roads easily navigable and safer.
The signpost which were installed yesterday, and we are still doing some amendment to, they are to direct the traffic appropriately, because where we are now, the traffic going by the left are to move to Abuja and to Onitsha. Those going to Asaba, Benin, Lagos axis are going by the right. So those signs are very important, and it started from the entrance of the quadrant over there.
The opening of the bridge will last till January 15 to enable contractors put finishing touches before the inauguration of the project. In Asaba, Chinyere Okoli, NTA News.
This is the news at 10, reaching you live on NTA News 24. We have more reports ahead after this break. Stay with us. Thanks a lot for staying with us on the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Investments and Security Bill to transform capital markets boost investors' confidence. We have details of this and more with Comfort Amadu on our business package.
Head of the International Monetary Fund, Christina Georgieva, says for much of the global economy, 2023 is going to be a tough year as the main engines of global growth, the United States, Europe and China, will experience weakening activity. In October, the IMF cut its outlook for global economic growth in 2023, reflecting the continuing drag from the war in Ukraine, as well as inflation pressures and high interest rates engineered by central banks like the US Federal Reserve, aimed at bringing those price pressures to heel. Since then, China has scrapped its zero-COVID policy and embarked on a chaotic reopening of its economy. Economy watchers say Georgieva's comment suggests another cut to both China and global growth outlooks may be in the offing later this month, when the IMF typically unveils updated forecasts during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The Nigerian stock market was closed this Monday for the holiday. A total of 5,937 units of exchange-traded products valued at 21.7 million naira were traded in the week in 18 deals, as well as 35,327 units of federal government bonds valued at 35.7 million naira in 21 deals. 25 equities appreciated in the week, while 33 equities depreciated, and 98 equities remained unchanged. Markets in the US, Britain, Ireland, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong and Australia were equally closed for the holiday. Many European stock markets are, however, opened and edged higher with business news. Comfort Amadu.
A new year is an opportunity to have new dreams and expectations. It provides a chance to chart a new course while offering the prospect of rewriting one's history and setting oneself on a new path. In this report, Achibong Basi brings us expectations from the year 2023, especially as the nation prepares to go to the polls.
A blank check holds two possibilities: something great or something ordinary, depending on what is filled on it. The new year for many is a blank check. It is a chance to get better, be more productive, and more successful.
Maybe the poverty we're going through is just a phase. It will go. And I've said in a couple of interviews, maybe after the election we're going to see more prosperity, depending on who comes on board. And I believe whosoever comes on board should actually represent the aspiration of our people.
We expect that this election should be free and fair, that the will of Nigerians should be reflected in the result. And most importantly, whoever takes over, we believe that it should offer us the leader been craving for.
We are very happy that God has spared our life to see another new year, not just sing with good health. It shall be well for us and the entire Cross River State as well as Nigeria.
2023, which is an election year for us in Nigeria, and I wish that our people will come out to vote.
With few months to the general elections, the people are optimistic that electorates will make deliberate efforts to set the agenda right. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
Candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has promised to harness the vast lands in the northern part of Nigeria to solve problems of poverty and insecurity if elected president in the February election. Obi was sharing his thoughts at a town hall meeting organized for women leaders of the party in Abuja. Ekene Ndulue reports.
The women are from different states in the country, including the FCT. They believe theirs could be the tipping hand in the coming election.
What is the weight of Nigeria that you are carrying?
And they are keen to make the most of it. Peter Obi enters from the east with ideas from the west, but with the north in mind. Tackling poverty, insecurity and other sundry issues is not far from the table.
Our job is to secure and unite the country. You need to ensure that there's rule of law, there's law and order. We say we must move the country from consumption to production. That is the only way we can create jobs.
In the new Nigeria under the Obi Dati administration, there will be an increase in national health insurance to ensure that poorest Nigerians are covered, including pregnant women and people living with disability.
The women welcome these concepts and promise to put their votes where their hearts belong.
We must get the Nigeria that we all want, the Nigeria that our children will be proud of, the Nigeria where you don't need to beg anybody, the Nigeria where access to good quality education is there for everyone.
It is less than 2 months to the election, and the meeting afforded another opportunity for voter education. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
The Community Support Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council has taken grassroots sensitization and mobilization to Karumajiji community in the FCT, Ifoma Ojinta reports.
Working to mobilize the base at the communal level to ensure the victory of Tinubu Shetima aspiration, the Community Support Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, led by its director, Abdullahi Ahmed Miagogo, urged party loyalists and supporters in Karumajigi community to vote for the APC at all levels. He assures of more of government visibility at the grassroots, adding that the politically challenged women and children will not be neglected if Tinubu is given the mandate.
They should vote for APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kachi Shetima, and by God's grace, we will not disappoint them, and we will hold them, and we will give them all what belongs to them. We will make sure that we will supervise directly, just the way we come here and listen to them, and have their complaint and our hand, and by God's grace, we will channel it to the appropriate time when the time comes.
Although members of the community promised to support APC presidential candidate and his running mate, they raised some of their challenges expected to be addressed in the shortest possible time.
We believe APC will help us, and that is why we gather ourselves around to make sure we vote for the party. Believe in moving forward, because I believe that what they are here is to move Nigeria forward.
The directorate also educated members of the community on their rights to exercise their franchise and ensure they collect their permanent voter cards. Ifoma Ojinta, NTA News.
Presidential candidates of the All Progressives Congress APC Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration, if given the mandate, will prioritize food security and job creation as tools for addressing security and other socio-economic problems bedeviling Nigeria. He was speaking in Kano during a meeting with a cross-section of Islamic scholars from the Northwest Geopolitical Zone. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
The meeting with clerics by the APC presidential candidate is part of his pre-campaign stakeholder engagements in Kano. It is an opportunity to interface with relevant stakeholders to brief them about his plans and vision for Nigeria.
This campaign, this election, is about our collective march to a better Nigeria. We must march forward. We must not lose the sight of the road.
Enhancing food security and job creation, he believes, are an easy way to tackle the lingering security problems being faced in many parts of the country.
Prejudice and light of the past can help us towards a better Nigeria. We have a real and hard work ahead.
As respected members of the society, he stressed, religious leaders have a key role to play in educating citizens on their responsibilities and roles in nation building. Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje and his Jigawa state counterpart Muhammad Badur Abubakar joined the APC presidential candidate in giving assurance of all-inclusive leadership when the party gets elected in the forthcoming general elections. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
This is Benin's at 10 on NTA News 24. Time for another break, and we have more reports ahead. Stay with us, please.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Hello, and it's glad to have you join me on another exciting edition of Visual Impressions.